Hey everybody, welcome to Urban Asian. My name is Zoran Saher and I'm joined by the wonderful Rakul Preet Singh. Thank you so much for talking to me.
Thank you so much, Zoran. How are you?
Not at all. Welcome. I'm doing very well. Let's start straight away with your wonderful film coming up on Z5, which is Chhatriwali. Rakul, tell me exactly what kind of went through your mind when you were narrated the script.
I really liked the script. I really liked the character. I loved the world. I believed in the conversation that the film also is aiming to have. And what I really loved about it is that even though it picks a taboo topic, it's very sensitive with the family emotions. It's made for a family audience because it's very easy for the writing to sort of get, a little shaky and turn it into a sex comedy, or it's very easy to get sort of misplaced through the journey of the film. But what I loved is that the film was so solid and every character had so much importance, and the way they sort of weaved in even a 12-year-old girl as part of the narrative. So it's very relatable for people. So everyone who believes that this is a taboo will know why it's not, for the way it's handled in the film. And yeah, I loved all these things about the film, and hence, yes.
Well, I think you kind of brought up a very interesting point as well, because the kind of treatment of the film has given a lot of maturity and a lot of sense of calmness, I guess. It's sort of really, in a
Yes.
sense, stabilizing and normalizing the idea of sex education, in today's day and age, with a lot of misconceptions happening, and the representation of what it's meant to be and what sort of people take it as is sort of kind of gone so haywire. But I think this film is a kind of a fresh take on it. What is your take on, I guess, subjects that relate to kind of sex and intimacy? Was it a conscious decision coming to you, or
So
was it
there's
sort of
there's 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 a huge difference in subject that is talking about sex or intimacy or showing explicitly sex on screen, or educating people about sex. These
correct?
are two completely different worlds. I may not advocate first because nobody needs to know or see explicitly. Every human being will eventually know. But
Yeah,
what they don't know is the education, or even if they know, they don't know how it hampers the health. I mean, I don't think any film has spoken about women's health aspect in times of
right.
unsafe sex. And it is a need of the hour because so many women, trust me, many alarmingly, are going through numerous miscarriages, abortions. And the sad part is that they've normalized the pain that comes with the sexual health aspect of being a woman, but not the conversation.
Sure.
So for me, it was never a question because the film, like I said, is a very clean entertainment. There's not one scene in the film which is meant to grab eyeballs or to sensationalize just because the topic is taboo. In fact,
Right.
we're more sensitive and humor and comedy, and like it's a fun, entertaining film.
Sure.
So because we didn't want to move away from the main conversation, and when it came to me as a script which was family driven, I was okay with it. There's no thought, because I don't advocate unnecessary skin show when it's not needed in a film, and this film is not that.
Right. Well, you recently did a film called Runway as well with Mr. Bachchan and Ajay Devgan, and I think the likes of such actors which are exceptional. And you've had a fantastic journey as far as your acting has been concerned. And I think this is another departure for you. Are there any sort of takeaways? I mean, they're completely different subjects altogether. One is, of course, a very kind of a serious drama, and so is this. But I think this is a more of a lighthearted, like you said, when you choose a script as an actor. Is it purely just for the story? Is it for the narration? Is it for the kind of treatment given to your character? What is it exactly?
It's a little bit of everything because you
Yeah.
need to obviously like the story first and foremost, and then also like your character,
Right.
and also the world that the film creates.
Yeah.
Say, for example, Runway. I was very excited to do that because very rarely you have aviation thrillers in that world of turbulence, and it was just completely different experience. And of course, sometimes you choose films because you want to work with certain actors. So I want to do everything. Sometimes my role, I could be heading a film. Sometimes I could be part of a film which is great on, I mean, as a script,
Sure.
but not me necessarily heading it and having a meaty role in it. So I think it's always a permutation combination of what excites you in a film at that
Yeah.
particular point, but it's always a package.
Right. What was your experience sharing screen space with Mr. Bachchan? I mean, it's always an actor's
Amazing.
dream.
amazing. I remember the first time I met him was on set, and his energy is infectious. I think he's got this aura. He walks in, and it's like, you know, that there's a super, super duper star who's walked in, and yet so grounded, you won't believe. I think most of the days he would reach early. There was this one day he was 1.5 hours early. He said, I didn't have morning dance, so I just came. So Ajay
Yeah.
sir was like, what do you mean I just came? We're still setting up. So he was still a part of, hanging with people, talking, rehearsing his lines. And, you sort of, it reaffirms in your head that nothing comes easy. He doesn't need to do this, but you can at never point in your life take your stardom too seriously or to your head if you really want to reach that level of longevity and, receive evergreen love from audiences.
Sure. Well, now, while the process of making Chhatriwali, were there any conscious decisions you made as the character that you were playing that you can sort of draw from real life?
Not really, because like I said, I think I should give the credit to the writers, Priyadarshini and Sanchit, and the director Tejas, because they came to me with a bound script.
Okay.
With statistics attached to it also, to sort of make me believe in that world that what we're talking is relevant. So you and I might know what we're talking about, but there's a huge audience out there that possibly are unaware. So I think the character was also so well carved that I didn't really have to do much. Of course, for me as an actor, I have to just be Sanya and believe in her journey at every point, and I can't have a conflict. Why is she being like this, or why is she doing like that? So I have to believe in Sanya's world to deliver it rightly.
Sure. And well, lastly, Rakul, I just want to ask you, because you've done such diverse work and you've done some fantastic work. What's on the cards next? What's happening?
I have 2 films in Hindi that I'm working on, which will release this year, and then I've got 2 films in Tamil, which will release.
Fantastic. And just to end with, I want to ask you, because now we're kind of, well, the end of the pandemic and things are kind of getting back to the big screen, the big cinemas. Things are, of course, digital. And yes, let's kind of, cross fingers and hands and everything for that. What is your take kind of been as an actor, as an artist in the times of the pandemic? I mean, has there been sort of something you've had a self-realization, or is it?
Of course, I think it's been in different phases. When the first lockdown happened, it was a lot of self-realization, self-work. That's the first time you get break. I had a break in ever since I started my career. Like a true break where you don't know when you're going to get back to work. So it was a lot of me time, which was great. And sort of it puts into perspective what truly matters in life, the well-being of your loved ones, and gets you a little rooted, I feel, in the way you deal with life. And eventually then everything else that happened in terms with cinemas, the consumption pattern changing, the way audiences are consuming content. So it's still in a learning process. I think all of us are still sort of gauging, and we're in a 2.0 version of picking our crutches and getting back, learning how to walk. Because there are too many reasons and too many factors as to how technology has evolved over these 2 years, consumption patterns have evolved, how films will do in the theaters, how films will be received on OTT. That's a huge conversation, and I think we're still learning every day what the pandemic has to teach us.
A great way of ending. Wish you all the very best, Chhatriwali.
Thank
Can't wait to
you.
watch it. And lots of success.